Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Scary Stories with Dudey Rhino. If you would like to have your scary story read out on this show, then please do not hesitate to email me at dudeystories@gmail.com. The longer, the more detailed, the better. Okay, so today we are going to hear from Robin, and the story is titled The Lady in the Mirror. When I was a kid, I had a mirror in my room on top of the chest of drawers, sort of like a dressing table, I guess. I can remember a lot from my childhood because I have a weird photographic memory, probably to do with my autism. I remember from the ages of 4 to 5, before my mum broke up with my biological dad and we moved house. I used to speak to a lady in my bedroom mirror. I didn't know who she was, but I felt like she was my friend. Sometimes I had dreams about her, and she would come out of the mirror and sit on my bed and sing me to sleep. I do remember having a few nightmares about a different, scary monster lady coming out of the mirror and rushing towards me, but I cannot remember what this monster lady looked like, only that she was a different person, and the kind lady would always come out of the mirror and urge me to wake up. So I always woke up before the scary monster lady got to me. All of this stopped when we moved house. I've only had a few weird experiences since, but none of those involved a mirror lady, and they could all be explained away. I didn't really think about how weird this was until a few years ago when I described what I was experiencing to my mum. She was really freaked out, and she said the description of the lady in the mirror sounded almost exactly like my great aunt who died when I was 4. She believes in ghosts and all that stuff, so she is convinced that it was my great aunt. But if it was, I just wonder why I didn't recognise her as my great aunt. I always just thought of the mirror lady as a friend. I like trying to find reasonable explanations for things, but I can't really find one for this. It's very odd, and I still don't understand why I used to dream about being put to sleep and then have a different dream unless the first one wasn't a dream. I'm still not convinced that it was definitely a ghost experience because I've always had a very vivid imagination. It's called hyperphantasia, so it could easily have just been me entertaining myself as an only child. I went through a lot of crap as a child with another family member, and it started when I was 4. So it could have also been me going through trauma and dealing with it by escaping through my imagination. But usually my imaginary experiences would be revolved around a special interest, like TV shows I would watch, for example. I've said this to my mum, but she is still convinced that it was a ghost experience, especially since she also experienced weird things in that house, like objects moving when she hadn't moved them, that sort of thing. She reckons that we are intuitive, but I don't think I am because I struggle with socializing, and if I was really intuitive, I would probably find it easy. Anyway, I hope I didn't ramble on too long, and I hope it wasn't boring. It certainly wasn't. Robin. I could easily make up a creepier story, but I wanted to tell one of my real unexplainable experiences as a kid. Thank you so much for that story, Robin. I really do appreciate it. I really enjoyed it, and it certainly is creepy. There's something about mirrors. I think it's why there's such a horror trope within horror movies, for example. There's always something in the reflection of a mirror, isn't there, when it comes to horror films. But I love, again, how you're trying to apply logic and how you're trying to explain logically what it could have been. Were you dreaming? Was it prior to dreaming? Was it your imagination? Or was it your great aunt trying to contact you? Perhaps that is why it seemed like such a friendly entity to you, because in fact it was a family member who had just recently passed over. But who knows? I would love to know what everyone's thoughts are in the comments. Okay, we're going to do 2 stories today. The next story is Mystery Man and the Grey Top Hat. This comes from Jordan McMinn. Hey man, been a big fan of the channel for a good while now. This story is not exactly terrifying, it's just stuck with me for years. When I was a wee boy, must have been about 2004, I was on my way home from school. Just your bog standard, ordinary school day. I stayed just down the road from my high school, so it only took me minutes to get home. I stayed in a council estate at the time, so I would walk home from school. I'd walk past all the other flats before I got to mine. My house was at the very end of the street. Anyway, as I was about halfway down the road, I passed one flat, windows covered in dirt, and there was a loud thumping noise on the glass. I turned to my right, and next to my face was a middle-aged man at the ground floor window, just about a foot away from me. He was wearing a grey, old, battered-looking top hat and had a handlebar curled moustache. He was thumping on the window with both his hands, shaking his head violently from side to side and screaming with his tongue sticking out, "Ah! Ah!" What was strange was that the flat had been empty for a good while now, and no one lived there. I fucked off home, never saw him again. Like I said, nothing scary ever happened after it. It just freaked me right out. Might have been some poor homeless guy, or just someone off their nut. Either way, I still have that guy's face stuck in my mind. Can he wear a top hat now for love nor money? Much love, man, and keep up the great content. Jordan McMinn, Paisley, Scotland. Thank you so much, Jordan. Somehow don't think that this one was supernatural, but I have said in the past, this show, Scary Stories with Dudey Rhino, that doesn't have to be paranormal to be scary. They can be stalkers, they can be strange people in abandoned flats with top hats on screaming at you violently. If you're a kid walking home from school, that is going to scare you. Therefore, that is a scary story. And I'm Dudey Rhino, therefore, that's a scary story with Dudey Rhino. Thank you so much, Jordan. I hope that one day you're able to wear a top hat again. Thank you for emailing in. If you would like your story heard, read out, starring on this show, then email me at dudestories@gmail.com. I'm really enjoying this series, guys. I hope that you are too. If you are, let me know down below. Use your power to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm really close to 100k. I may be there by the time this comes out, I may not, but I'm very much looking forward to getting my hands on that silver plaque at long last, and you can help me get there by simply hitting that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying this series as much as I am. I'll see you next time for some more scary stories with Dudey Rhino.